Thanks for the presentation, and I'm Antonio Pallotti by the Technoscience Institute, and that I will show you, it's about some keywords: the monitoring system, the the workers, the wearable technologies, and the computational intelligence. In this sense, we use supervised machine learning techniques. Before to start, I just say some few words about my institute. That is a consortium. A consortium, that means that we work together, the university, in this case, the University of Rome San Raffaele, that is a founder of the consortium, the hospital, San Raffaele Hospital of Rome, and the San Raffaele company. In this sense, we do a proposal together with the university, with the hospital and the company, to the Ministry of Education, of Health, or the Economic Development, and other to the public administration and the European Union. So, when we have done this proposal, this research project as a scientific research, or as an industrial research, or as a clinical research, we received this funding to develop the project or the industrial product. So, the last slide for this short presentation. We deliver service to the hospital, for example, in this sense, a web platform that integrates all the service, for the example, for the bioimaging analysis, for the laboratory analysis and the others, or for the public administration, for the monitoring of the street or the home or other buildings. So, I start with the first example for the oral presentation. The mean of this presentation, it's a communication, because we are working in progress, and we have the first results, but we are working now in this model. So the first example is about the health and safety of the workers for the urban hygiene. So we know that in all the city, there's a company that it's deputized to clean and to take the waste in the street. But the problem is this: the street is a domain of the public administration, but the worker is in domain of the company. So the worker stay in a workplace that it isn't directly controlled by the company. So there could be a lot of problems, such as, for example, by chemical agents, by the waste, or biological agents by the product of the animals that stay in the street, or physical agents, as the cutting by the metal case. So we use ISAECT. This is a very short example of the movement of the worker. So we propose to use wearable sensor, because this is a free movement. It isn't controlled. You could take a mass of some kilograms or more. You don't know this. So exists the legal reference for the safety of the worker, but there isn't a control. This is another example, and for this first example, we propose an inertial sensor for the human kinematics analysis, and to verify if the legal reference for the motion is respected. For example, I know that for a working day, I could do this movement of flexion extension of the wrist, for example, for 100 of times, but with a range of less and more 30 degrees. But there isn't an instrument that can verify this request. Here in the middle of the video, okay, some few seconds, you could see that during the conduction of the industrial vehicle, the worker has a lot of mechanical vibration in the body. And this is a problem for the accidents in the workplace and has a cost for the legal assistance. So the second example, in the clinical workplace, but the instrument is the same for the first. This is a sensory suite with, in this case, only 11 inertial sensors. The full system has 30 inertial sensors. Each sensor has 6 degrees of freedom, 3 for the accelerometer and 3 for the gyroscope. So in real-time mode, we acquire the data by the sensory system. In this case, it's only an EMU sensor. And the data is redirected to the local device that is a smartphone. A smartphone, in this case, we use Android system. So we have a storage in a local device in the order of kilobyte for 1 hour, for example. But we have to monitor, in this case it's a laboratory example, but if you want to control or to monitor the states of the worker in the workplace, we want a real-time system. So the data is redirected to the smartphone, and thanks to 5G technology, thanks to our partner, in this case, here in Italy is the Cisco system, and the Olivetti Telecom that furnish this system. So the data is redirected to a web platform, and we can control, we can monitor in a real time the state or the position or the movement of the subject. This is another example. I like this part, if I can, no, okay, I got it. I could. Other application in the clinical field that is very related to the workplace field is for the assessment of neurological disease. For example, in the Parkinson disease, we know that there's an optical evaluation by the doctor. So a simple movement could be this, of the prone supination of the forearm, or the flexion extension of the feet. But it's a visual evaluation, and that where the doctor is trained in many years of experience. So we introduce as an integrated instrument for the doctor an inertial sensor, and we have the same information of the doctor. So the quality track in expressed in degree in this case, but after this signal we could use classification model, so feature extraction, and we can give an objective, a numerical evaluation, and this information is correlated with the diagnosis of the doctor. So it's a supervised machine learning models. This is, if we start, sorry, okay, I retry. Okay, no, I'm just a few seconds, okay. These are 3 systems in the same time. We have the inertial sensor upon the body. We have sensory socks with pressure sensor. We have a force platform. What it means? It means that in a laboratory system, we are in a limited space. So we have 3 or 6 or 10 meters to evaluate the movement. We want to use wearable sensor to evaluate the health of the subject or the worker inside the home or when he goes to work or similars. So through Bluetooth communication between the sensory unit and the local device, and through 5G communication through the local device and web platform. And the other system, yes, it's only a comparison. This is an example for the wireless space communication. We arrive to 100 of distance between the local device and the router. So we could apply this, for example, in the soccer sport or in an open space. Okay, another example of our application. These are all industrial projects that we are doing in collaboration with the company and supported by the Italian Institute for the Health and Against the Insurance. You see a single worker that all the day could do this movement. It's a repeated movement. So we use the inertial sensor upon the body without limits in this sense. We have a range of 100 meters. So the boss of the company, if there's an alert, received a message to the smartphone or to the system control, and the emergency system can intervene. But not only this, okay, with the industrial vehicle, could be possible that in some place as this could be an accident because he conducted a big vehicle and has a limited visual. So if you see, this is the avatar of the worker, and you can see all the vibration that received all the day. So there's a musculoskeletal stress all the day, and evaluating the stress that he received thanks to a machine learning model, we can reduce the hours of working, for example, from 8 to 6, and to give a new management model for the worker, only reducing the working time. But okay, other instrument that we use, electromyographic armband. It's a commercial device. We use all commercial device with European Community certification, and also with a medical device certification, because the sensory unit is only one step of the full industrial project. Because after that we integrate in our application, mobile application, sorry, and after that we integrate in our web platform that is a storage, but we are writing with Java language the machine learning models. This is another example of EEG sensor. It's a simple device, and in this example it shows the difference between an operation of relaxation, and after that, if I can go, no, I have to wait, when she writes with the computer, and we can observe the difference in this signal. It's only an amplitude example, but with this signal we integrate again in our devices, so each call center operator or each worker in an office could be monitored through these technologies. So I have to arrive to the web platform. This is an example of the sensory SOC. This is first example of the web platform of the system. So we have a generic sensory unit that could be a sensory SOC or an inertial suite or an EMG sensor, EEG sensor, and others. We have a local device. In this case, it's a smartphone where we have wrote the mobile application, and this is the web platform. In the web platform, there's one only association between the patient in the clinical field or worker for the other field. So we have only association between the patient or the worker, the sensory unit, and the person that has the management of the data. For example, in the clinical field is the doctor. So the doctor can access to the raw data, can access to the result model, can be supported for the diagnosis and the therapy that give to the patient. In the industrial example, only the manager or only the occupational doctor can access to the data. And there's an encrypted communication for the data. So we respect all the legal reference here, in this case the Italy, but in the country of application. This is the industrial version, and we are doing for the prototype version. It's a simple example of Android application. As you can see, for example, accessing to the raw data of the accelerometer, prototype web server where you can plot the raw data, but it's an accelerometer. We could use the EMG sensor or the EEG sensor and the other data show. It's only a slide of the code. So what we are doing now, and so I will finish. These are the two industrial projects. I think this is more important because we are monitoring 400 workers for 7 hours for each day for 1 year. But in this case, the workers are in the surveillance near the metro station or the train station, because who controls the controller? in this case, only for the health status, but with the heart rate, pressure, accelerometry, energy expenditure, oximetry, and geolocalization also. But it's only a starting of our study. So we are collecting the raw data to develop the machine learning model for a personalized model. The other example is in the clinical field for the chronic venous disease. In this case, we have only 30 patients because it's more difficult. In this case, we have a contract with the company, so it's a vertical approach. In this case, there's a contract as in the clinical field. If I have a problem, I go to the doctor, and the doctor gives me, for example, a medicine or give me something, but there's a legal relationship between me and the doctor. So to do this, it's the same approach. There's a legal contract between the doctor and the patient for a research purpose. So we are collecting these patients in correlation with a medical therapy. In this case, a compressive shock that apply a compression to the leg for this particular disease. So we want to understand if there's an optimization of the therapy. So I will finish. This is only one example of the machine learning model because it's under review. So I show you only one slide, for example, for the EMG signal. After that, we have the feature extraction and the chain validation of the model. This is a recognition of the gesture to develop a classification model and a regression model of the movement of the single finger and of the wrist. This is my staff, the PhD student, master student, and the boss of the consortium. And this is my end. So thank you for that attention.
Thank you very much. It was very nice. And there is some questions.
Is it practical?
Yes, we are using this. It's my presentation.
And
so,
you are.
Yeah, it's me.
Very nice.
I have done this during my PhD in a prototypical way. So with resistive sensor, sensory globe, PCB design. But after that, we have passed to the industrial aspect. So with the CE certification and other problems.
Okay, next question.
I have two questions actually. Okay, first of all, it's like in general, since you said now that you worked on this during your PhD.
Yes.
Did you face any issue about privacy when you had to monitor the workers? Because I guess, since I remember some years ago, for example, Amazon wanted to monitor.
It's the bigger problem for this, because if you do this as a research approach, you don't have problem.
Okay.
For example, for this case, it's a research approach, and we have a legal contract, but it's a research approach. In this case, we have to have a dialogue with the company, but also with the political part. So, also another problem is the who guarantee the privacy of the data. The doctor is responsible for the raw data because it's a data of the person. But the doctor can guarantee the system. So the company that has developed the web platform guarantee the privacy of the data, but can't access to the raw data. So each part has the correspective responsibility in this way.
Okay, so in the end, the political...
yes, it's the bigger problem.
Okay.
But we can do this. It's very delicate, but we can do.
The other question is more technical, since you showed in slide 11 a test in which a guy was walking.
Yes.
As far as I know, especially when you are like in indoor tracking, using inertial sensors,
yes,
you can have problems with drift.
Yes, we have studied the problem, and the drift starting after 30 minutes or after also 1 hour.
Yeah, okay, but this is for walking. My question is there any similar issue when you are, let's say, simply monitoring the movement like the guy that was throwing the garbage? Is there any drift, let's say, also in that situation?
For other devices or this device?
For this device.
But I saw that the most important problem is in the industrial space for the electromagnetic field. For example, for the automotive company or as Fiat, Chrysler or similar. So they want to study the economic of the worker, but we have this problem. But we are trying to solve this.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, another question?
I have one question. In the beginning, one question. Thank you for very interesting presentation. I'm crazy about sensors. I have 5 patents in this area without function monitoring. And my question is about communication.
Yes.
I don't understand. You have a lot of different sensors.
Yes.
And the sensor is connected to, for example, mobile phone, where is the application in Android.
Yes.
And you use some special emulator of 5G network, or it is
No, we use 5G network thanks to the collaboration with the Cisco systems, the SAS, and the Olivetti Telecom company. So it's a mixed project. There's the research project and there's the industrial project. For the industrial part, we have our partners that can give us this problem.
And what is benefit this solution? For example, if you compare with Bluetooth 5 generation,
the benefit is the full system. So we give this not as a sensory unit or a mobile application or a web platform, but for the industrial part as a service. So each person can obtain this not buying the sensory system or the but a service and as a reduced cost. So this is, I think, the best solution.
From point of view energy,
From
the sensor is
yes. The sensor has a batteries. Each sensor, for example, in this case, this is a simple Fitbit sensor. We have bought it for 15 euros, and the duration is 1 week of working, and the recharge is via USB communication. In this case, the sensor is started. It's 6 hours and has an integrated battery and also with USB communication. For the sensory suite, it depends only by the battery. So we can use different battery. It depends by the dimension of the duration. But I can say you that I use the sensory suite with a battery and a duration of 3 days. 8 hours for each day. So there isn't a problem by the battery in this case.
Thank you.
Thank you to you.
Okay, is there any other question? Okay, so thank you very much again for a very interesting presentation.
I think your applications,
Yes.
electrical energy efficiency were high level because your applications don't need lighting.
Okay. We want to use this in two environments. In the home for the patient, and in the workplace that it's outside, so with the natural light for the work. Thank you for the presentation.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.